Hey folks, welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight on the bar we are celebrating JP Weiser's legacy and his 200th birthday with this very limited release. So go watch the intro, come on back, and I'll tell you what it's all about. Stick around, guys. Well, hey folks, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and tonight on the bar we've got ourselves a very special release from JP Weiser's in celebration of his 200th birthday with the JP Weiser's Legacy 200th Birthday Edition. This is an LCBO exclusive, very limited quantities, about 1,000 cases I think were released. It comes out at about $54. I was lucky enough to grab one of these at my local LCBO. And, you know, if you're interested in picking one up, I believe there still is quantities out there, but again, very limited in that. Before we crack into this and I share my thoughts and opinions of it with you, I wanted just to give you guys a little bit of background on it. So JP Weiser's Legacy 200 Birthday Edition is a special release from one of Canada's most storied whiskey makers, and JP Weiser's, crafted to celebrate 200 years in whiskey making tradition. And this limited edition expression pays tribute not only to the legacy of JP Weiser, but his dedication to quality innovation that helped define the Canadian whiskey landscape. And the Legacy 200 blend showcases a masterful display of balance with corn, rye, and barley whiskey, aged in a combination of new oak and ex-bourbon barrels. I believe there is some port in there too, and we'll get into that as we kind of walk through the presentation and whatnot. And it offers a remarkable depth of complexity, and it reflects the culmination of generations of craftsmanship with the blending team led by master blender Dr. Don Livermore, who continues to produce Weiser spirits and experimentation and excellence. So with that, let's kind of get into the presentation of this one here. I really like it, the nice Regal label on it here. It is a very hefty bottle. It comes in with an ABV stamp of 45% ABV. Given that it's Weiser's, I'm going to say there's chill filtration. I'm going to say there's color added. No surprise there. What I am surprised is they don't put a ton of information on the packaging here. There's really just this little tiny blurb on the back here. And this is the only spot I managed to find anything about it. It says, this Legacy Port Cask release offers aromas of cherries, plums, and dark chocolate, and kind of goes on with some notes. That is the only spot that it actually mentions anything to do with port casks. So yes, there is new oak. Yes, there is ex-bourbon casks. And I think there is some either finishing or part of the maturation in port casks and whatnot. They do not give you an age statement on this. And they don't really give you a whole ton of information on this. And really, it's a lot of marketing and not a whole lot of substance in there. Again, limited to 1,000 cases, and, you know, combination of new oak, ex-bourbon, and port of some kind, and no idea what the ratios are, no idea what the age is, no idea. All I know is that this is to celebrate JP Weiser's 200th birthday, which it says right on here. And yeah, pretty cool coming out. They did a legacy release a couple years back. I wasn't lucky enough to get one of them. I did grab this one. So without further ado, I'm going to crack into it here. I'm just going to use my knife to kind of get it started, and if I have trouble, I'm going to edit out the opening here. You know, just another kind of nod here. Really nice cork. It's got the Weiser's logo embossed on there, and the bottle is very hefty. Let's give it a little cork pop. Very tight cork, nice pop on it there. Pour ourselves a dram of JP Weiser's Legacy 200 Birthday Edition. Almost dropped the cork there. Again, I'm going to say that it is filtration, and there is filtration, and there is color added to it. Color-wise, we'll go in for a little close look here. Again, first thoughts and opinions on it. It's a nice copper color, very reminiscent of a fairly good aged JP Weiser's, maybe like the 15 or the 18-year-old. And yeah, pretty nice. Getting some decent aromas off it already in the bar. But anyways, we'll go into that here in a second. So on the, you know, I've got a bit of a cold here, but I mean, it's really more focused on my throat and not so much my taste buds or my nose. So fortunate enough to have that. So let's go into the nose here and give you guys my first thoughts and opinions on the JP Weiser's Legacy. Again, matured in a combination of new American oak and ex-bourbon and some port casks of some kind in there. So let's go in the nose. And again, a combination of barley, corn, and rye on the nose. It's really got that classic Weiser's profile to it there. Lots of vanilla, lots of sugars, brown sugars, burnt caramel notes. There's a bit of nuttiness on there too. Some roasted almonds, roasted peanuts. I get a little tiny bit of banana. I get a tiny bit of some port influence in there, but very minimal. Red berries, strawberries, kind of jammy notes that you normally would get out of some port. At 45%, you can get your nose right in there. There's a little tiny bit of an alcoholic note on the tail, but I would almost chalk that up to just plain bitterness in the maturation. Again, no age statement, so it's probably, you know, 3 years plus a day. Yeah. All right, a little swirl in the glass there. Legs are kind of holding on there, but they are visible. Let's go in and take a look at the palate. Again, first opinions, first thoughts. I just, you know, fresh crack of this Wiser's Legacy 200 birthday edition, and let's see what it offers. So cheers to your health, and hopefully you got something good in your glass. Wow. Took a pretty good sip there. Pretty mouth coating, thinner liquid, but it does hang on there. A little bit, it is kind of reminiscent of a standard Wiser profile, but there's a little bit more spice to it. Right off the get-go, a palate matches the nose. Vanillas, caramels. I get more oranges and more kind of rye in there too. I get some cherry notes in there and a little bit of strawberry. Right behind that, I get a nice dose of cinnamon and black pepper spice, and it carries for a while. It's kind of more reminiscent of like a real higher proof rye. You know, that being said, that might have something to do with the ratios. Maybe it's a higher ratio of rye than barley and corn, which is always nice to me. Gonna go in for one more sip. Yeah, you get those nice fresh, a little bit of earthiness in there too. Again, vanillas, caramels, oranges, some apple in there too, maybe a little bit of pear. Behind that, a little bit of red berry fruits, a little bit of jam. It's really more citrus. And then that big dose of and it does hit you pretty, it does give you a good slap around there. Of that cinnamon, of that, you know, white pepper, black pepper spice in there. I'm quite enjoying it now because it is coating my throat and it is making it a little easier to talk, which is great as well. But it does have a little bit extra character than your run-of-the-mill average everyday Wiser's whiskey. And yeah, 45% ABV. She no slouch there. I'm going to go in for one more sip, and then I'm going to give you guys kind of my final thoughts on that. Two centuries of craftsmanship celebrated in this bottle. It's great, you know. It's a little bit better than your average everyday run-of-the-mill Wiser's there. A little bit higher ABV as well. More character, a little more oomph to it there too. I don't see too much of the port influence in there, but you know what? That's okay. I'm not a huge port fan in Canadian whiskey, anyways. I find it can give a little bit too much of a fruity edges and sweet edges to it. It's sweet enough in my opinion, which is excellent there. I'm a big fan of Canadian whiskey here. Sip the North, in case you guys haven't already done that, and go Jays go as well. It's a good little dram here. Good price point at $54. I think if you're just into Wiser's, I think you're gonna like it. If you're into collecting Wiser's whiskey like this, I think it's great. It's an easy whiskey to enjoy, and again, it's better than the average run of the day everyday Wiser's, and I'm quite enjoying it here. Something Papa Seaway would definitely enjoy. Cheers to Papa Seaway, guys. I remember first time having a glass of rye and Coke, and I mean that's what was in it was Wiser's Club, Wiser's Deluxe, and that kind of got the old journey started there, and Papa Seaway still drinks his Wiser's and Coca-Cola there. But this is something I think he could definitely get behind at 45%, drinking it neat. I think it would be a banger in a cocktail. Again, that little bit of spiciness is great too. And, it's nice. Celebrating JP Wiser's 200th birthday. Available at the LCBO exclusively, limited to 1,000 cases. I know they're sold out in my area, but I think there's still some out there in the wild. So if you're interested and this sounds like something you would be interested in picking up, I wouldn't wait too long. I'd go out and grab it, especially at $54. You're not going to break the bank. And I will put together a formal review on this once I have a little bit more out of it here. Again, this is just a solid neck pour. But again, by that time, it might be already sold out. So if you're interested in grabbing it, go out and grab it. And if you like what we're doing here at seawaywhiskywire, you guys know the drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at seawaywhiskywire for more content. And if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Love coming down the basement after a long day's work, checking out some limited release Canadian stuff that I don't usually, I don't buy a ton of Canadian whiskey. I do a lot of reviews on it and that, but I don't actually go out to the LCBO and source it. Usually I'm getting it from other places and whatnot. But this was one that when I saw it and it was available in my my neck of the woods, I just couldn't resist and I had to get it in there. And I would have gotten a little bit quicker on the review, but unfortunately I came down with a bit of a cold. Still getting over it here, obviously, but it is not impacting my ability to do this, and I'm quite enjoying this whiskey. And you know what? Honestly, I think you will too. If you're a big J.P. Weiser fan, if you're a Crown Royal Canadian Club fan, you're looking for something different, something a little bit up your game here. If you're looking for a gift for somebody who enjoys Canadian whiskey, look no further. I think you're gonna be very happy with this, or they're gonna be very happy getting this as a gift. So yeah, all the better. Again, sip the North, grab yourself and try yourself out with some good Canadian spirits. All the best. Take care. I'll see you around. Bye for now, guys.